Welcome to Africa's Big Switch. On this episode, we had a conversation with Richard Chongo, the country director at Opportunity International, Malawi. With over 13 years of experience, Richard specializes in managing transformative programs around agriculture, finance, youth development, and gender equality. Specifically, we explored the Ulangizi platform, the AI-enabled agri-tech solution that is transforming the lives of smallholder farmers in Malawi, helping them to improve yield. This is Africa's Big Switch. Hi everyone, my name is Balaji and I'm hosting this episode with Hassana. Today we'll be joined with Richard Chongo, who's the country director for Opportunity International. Hi Richard, how are you doing?
Hi, Balaji. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Even more excited that we're doing this. I'm sure our listeners, you guys don't know what's coming, but this is going to be a really, really, really interesting episode. Um, so Richard, tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Balaji. My name is Richard Chongo, as I've mentioned. I'm the country director for Opportunity International in Malawi. I joined Opportunity in 2010. So also just coming from your story, my journey with Opportunity has been more personal because I really want to contribute to the development of my nation, of Malawi, and just the general well-being of the people that are the citizens of Malawi, and where possible beyond Malawi. So I joined Opportunity in 2010, where I now served in the bank. So initially, Opportunity International owned and operated financial institution in Malawi. Now, our main role was to promote financial inclusion in Malawi. So the main challenge that we saw in Malawi and maybe also general in Africa is that there was financial exclusion in most parts of the country, and especially in the hard to reach areas. So our main purpose was now to bring the financial services into those rural areas to help people to understand what a financial institution is, and also how they can get value from a financial institution, and also working with the financial institution to develop the products that were very relevant to the people that they were supporting. My belief is that people that have access to finance would go through life in a better way than those who do not. And in a few years, we became like the largest bank in terms of client numbers. We reached out to about 700,000 clients in Malawi. So we transitioned into the NGO space where we are focusing so much on agriculture finance from 2017. We are supporting about 180,000 smallholder farmers to help them to grow more and earn more. Basically, we want to make sure that the people that are making our food have enough food and reaching a point where they can go to bed on full stomach. Because I think, Boraj, you would understand that most of the people that really go to bed hungry are the ones that are producing our food. So we want to make sure that we should help these people to have quality inputs, follow the best agricultural practices so that they can harvest more and also earn more from their efforts. So we link these smaller farmers to financial institutions, and just in this year alone, up to half year, we've dispersed about 8 million US dollars to the smaller farmers that work with. And we've also supported with technical support, technical training on good agricultural practices to more than 140, 150,000 smallholder farmers in Malawi. So basically,
Wow.
this is what we do. We support smallholder farmers in Malawi.
Wow. You said a lot of things that I really want to unpack. Um, I think let's just go a step back, which is what is Opportunity International? From what I get, it seems like a bank. But you mentioned grants as well. You mentioned NGOs. So is it a is it a bank? Is it a commercial bank? And does it look to like a traditional bank that looks to make profit, or is it a specialized type of bank? So in other words, what is Opportunity International?
So Opportunity International is a non-profit. So it's a non-profit organization that started in 1971, and we operate in different regions of the world, both in like in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America. We provide services that are empowering to people that are living in poverty to really help them transform their lives, their children's futures, and their communities. So this is in our case, we provide services in agriculture finance and also in education finance. We know a lot of people that can attribute their success to education. And we know a lot of people that can attribute their living and their livelihood to agriculture. So we want to focus on these areas, agriculture finance and education finance, through this entity. Now, we want to promote access to finance so that we can now finance these areas that are very crucial to people's lives.
Incredible. And I know like at the very start when you introduced yourself, you said that you joined Opportunity International because you wanted to contribute towards the development of your country, Malawi. Um, and this was maybe almost 10 years ago. Um, I guess just looking at it from a personal perspective, how has that journey been? Because I can see like you've kind of grown in your role, grown in your experience and expertise. But reflecting back on that initial vision and
Mhm.
thinking about your personal journey, how has that been?
Yeah, so I think it has been a very exciting journey for me. Opportunity International has been my family, has been my life, and this is where I have really grown as a person and also find that kind of satisfaction to make sure to see the people that we are supporting really change from one low level to a better level. So as we promote agriculture finance, we we can really see a lot of support that we have given to the smaller farmers, especially like for them to really take farming as a business. As you know, like in Africa, people do farming just as an activity because their parents, their grandparents were doing farming, but they don't really know how much they're investing, how much they're getting their investments. So we provide this type of support to really help them understand the goals that they want to achieve from their own investments. Now, by providing the training and also the linkages to financial institutions, we have seen how smallholder farmers are being transformed. You would see that like in 2023 we released about 1.85 billion in capital, so through financial institution partners. So globally we have 138 financial institutions, and we also reached 20 million people across 20 countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. Now you can see that when these 20 million people sit down and also reflect upon their lives, they are thankful to what opportunity could do in their own lives. We don't want to change their lives. We want to walk alongside them to understand their goals so that together we can follow the path of transformation. So we do not boast to say that we change people's lives. We boast ourselves to say we are supporters, we are partners in the client's lives so that we can walk slowly together, step by step, until these people can achieve the dreams and the vision that they have for their own lives.
No, honestly, that's so inspiring to hear. And I almost wish like a lot more people had this kind of mindset. So just to like touch a bit more on partnerships. So I'm quite curious. So the farmers, the financial investors, like all the partners that you're involved with, how do you tend to like find them? How do you tend to like keep that relationship going and all of that?
Yeah, so yeah, it's a very good question. So from my understanding, I really believe that no man can do everything on his or her own. And also in Africa, we have this representation that you cannot have your roof on one head. You really need partners to make sure that your roof can stand. And we want to leverage on each other's strength to make sure that our part of strength combined with the part of the strength of our partner, now we can now give the best benefit to the partners or the clients that we're working with. So from the work that we do, we want to make sure that we can collaborate and coordinate with like-minded partners in those communities. We share our vision, we share our goals. We also have a better ear of listening from what our partners want to achieve. Then we come together. So one thing that I've really seen is that as we provide these value-adding interventions and services, the people that are working with really need financing so that they can also invest in their goals and their dreams. By partnering with the financial institutions and sharing the common goal and interest, we come together. So we walk alongside this path and we keep each other because we have a common goal and a common dream. So like for example, like in Malawi, about 83% of the population live in rural areas. Now you would see that 72% of the workforce is employed in agriculture, and 70% of the people live below the poverty line, the international poverty line, and like 80% of the children complete primary education. Now, looking at these statistics, you find that there are different partners, different organizations that have an interest in making sure that we can better these statistics. So coming together and with our different strengths, we support each other to make sure that we can really make these statistics a bit better for our people, for our nations.
No, honestly, that's so good. And then in terms of like, shall I say the farmers that you work with, so what type of products they usually produce, or like, could you give us a few examples of those?
So, in fact, I would say that everyone in Malawi is a farmer. Because like even for people that live in the urban areas, they have like a small plot of land in their rural villages where they go and they just work on their farms. But I should say that we focus on smallholder farmers. These people usually have like a 1 acre plot, 2 acres plot, 3 acres plot, such kind of plot size. And usually they focus on cash crops such as soya, like soybean, groundnuts. Sometimes it's root and tuber crops like cassava and other cash crops. And we also see that a lot of our smaller farmers are going into maize. Maize is gives it's our staple crop because it gives us nsima, which is our main food. So we make maize flour and we make nsima from the maize flour. But usually our smaller farmers would now do soya and groundnuts and other cash crops. So these are the main people that we support. Like in most of African countries, the main cash crop that the nation really support, they do tobacco as well. But in terms of our promotion, training, and supporting the good agricultural practices, our clients really focus on the cash crops as I've mentioned, like the soya, the groundnuts, the root and tuber crops, the sometimes it's the chilies and such kind of crops.
Interesting. Thank you. And then just to touch on the finance side a bit. So what do you think are some of like the biggest challenges faced by these entrepreneurs, especially when trying to access finance?
Yeah, it's a big question. So like most of the financial institutions do not want uh, I shouldn't say do not want, but maybe they have some kind of risk as a big word in their offices for them to go into these rural areas, excluded areas, and sometimes maybe the agricultural sector would be considered as a risk area. So most of the farmers would really struggle to find financing, and even though like maybe they would group themselves to find financing, you find that these groups are not maybe registered or they are not formal, and most financial institutions won't work with formal institutions or formal groups that are registered. So these really provide some kind of a challenge in terms of providing access to finance to these smallholder farmers who are usually and mainly found in rural areas. So this is the main thing that I've seen in terms of like the challenge. So as opportunity, we partner with these financial institutions to provide some de-risking type of interventions. Sometimes it would be uh, maybe guarantees, sometimes just providing training to these smaller farmers to make them credit ready or to make them understand the value of financial institution and how they can create a better and lasting relationship with financial institution. These are some of the solutions that we provide to make sure that we can promote rural financing, especially for our smaller farmers. We also work with these financial institutions to provide training to their staff, and we also provide input in terms of how they design their products and services to make sure that they are relevant to the rural population. We have seen over the past years to see that now financial institutions have started to see that there is a better and beautiful market in these clients, in these smaller farmers that are based in rural areas. So this gives us something that we can smile about because our partnership with these financial institutions can now promote rural financing in the areas that were previously excluded.
Incredible. So just so I understand, so Opportunity International acts as a coordinator, bringing the finances to the people who need the capital, the farmers, the smallholder farmers. Is that correct? Have I kind of captured it well?
That's correct. So we see ourselves as a bridge in so many ways. So to really help to release financing capital in the areas where uh, access to finance is really a challenge. So as I mentioned, my belief, and I really believe, I'm really convinced that people that have access to finance, they go through life than those who do not have access to finance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this way, you'll find that if people really lack access to finance, then they'll just continue rolling in the same area, in the same place for forever and ever. Now, promoting access to finance through our financial institution partners really provide some kind of a benefit to these smaller farmers that now they're able to get this financing and buy quality inputs. They can now invest into labor. They can invest into growing their portfolio of agricultural interventions. And now coupled or combined with the training, the support that we provide to these smallholder farmers is really what is the best benefit. We work with what we call the farmer support agents. These are the trusted community leaders, the farmers that have seen it all in the communities. They know that they can mobilize other smaller farmers. We build their capacity so that now they can support their fellow smallholder farmers in the community. So through this farmer support agent network in the communities, it really helps us to reach out to more smallholder farmers, and it is also a very cost-effective means of providing support and services in these areas where we have our smaller farmers. Now, the FSA network is a network, as I mentioned, it's a network of we would say like maybe the lead farmers. And they're not just lead farmers, because every day, every time, every now and then, we are continuing to build their capacity. We leverage technology, we give them the gadgets that they can use technology to provide, to collect data, to provide training, to provide support to these smaller farmers. And through these tools that we give to our smaller farmers, they help that our smaller farmers can be better customers to our financial institution partners.
Incredible. So like as part of my job, I do a bit of change management, and I think what you've explained is critical in terms of sustainable change. Training the people to go on and continue supporting and training others. It allows the transfer of knowledge. So I really like that methodology of creating that community of agents that can go in there. And I mean, while if Opportunity International goes away, that change can still continue. So I really like that. So you touched there, it touched there on technology, providing them with the right technology to be able to increase their yield and I guess increase the quality of their products. What kinds of technology do you say, or would you say Opportunity International has provided? And maybe this is a good time to bring up the Ulangizi project, but I'll leave that up to you.
No, thank you much, Bolaji, for that question. So technology is something that really excites me. We have a number of interventions, innovations, technology that we have taken to rural areas. And I'm so excited about our use of technology because, as you know, in the past, technology would only sit in the urban areas. But now, being able to take technology into the rural areas is something that we see as a game changer. So when we started, we used smartphones to collect data, to provide video-based training to our clients, and also moving forward as we work with savings groups, others call them the village savings and loans associations. We provide like the VSLA app, where people can now use this digital ledger to run their savings group business, like when they're buying shares, when they're saving and doing everything within their savings groups. But I'll spend more time about talking about our agricultural extension technology, so which we call Ulangizi app. So Ulangizi app, basically it's like a technology-enabled agricultural advisory service. So in this case, you know that in Africa, we use the agricultural extension workers to provide agricultural advisory service, extension service to the smallholder farmers. But sometimes you find that the ratio of agricultural extension workers to the smallholder farmers is very high, and maybe sometimes it can be maybe one extension officer supporting 2,000 households or 3,000 households, which makes it sometimes difficult to provide adequate type of support to the smallholder farmers. And also sometimes when a farmer has asked a question that is a bit maybe technical or maybe challenging to the extension officer at that point, then the extension officer would have to go back to refer to certain materials, to certain books, and come back to the smallholder farmer to provide that kind of a response. Now, to manage these type of challenges, we work with a chatbot that uses WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp chatbot, and it is based on a ChatGPT base, where we are providing real-time and adequate type of agricultural extension services to the smallholder farmers. But the question is, like we are here in Malawi. Like, where do we get this content and the support that we're providing to the smallholder farmers? In Malawi, we use the content that is very specific to the Malawi environment. In this case, we partner with the Ministry of Agriculture using the Good Agricultural Practices Manual that the government of Malawi produces for the farmers of Malawi. So we take that content and feed it into this Ulangi's app. Now, when a farmer has a question about his or her agricultural activity, and they ask this chatbot, it will provide a response that is now coming from this manual that was produced by the government of Malawi. The good thing with this app is that it uses both English and Chichewa, which is the local language. The local language is a game changer because most of our smallholder farmers would not speak English. Now they would rely on using the local languages to get the support. So the chatbot provides the support using the local language, but if they want, they can also use English. The other benefit that we see using our chatbot is that you can use audio, like voice note, because it uses a WhatsApp chatbot. You can, the same way you chat with your friend on a WhatsApp, like you send a voice note to that person, you can ask your question using a voice note. Like, how do I grow maize? How much fertilizer can I apply to a 1 acre plot of maize? Then it will provide an answer to you, both in text and also in a voice note. So you can just listen to the voice note if you are not able to read. The other game changer that I really saw using our chatbot is that it uses pictures and images. Sometimes, you go into your farm, you see something that is strange, you don't know what name it is. So it is very difficult for you to now type or ask because you don't know the name of that thing that I've seen. Using Ulangi's app, you just go to the plant, you take a picture of that plant and with that issue and ask, what is this? Then it will tell you that this is this thing, and for you to manage this thing, you need to do this and this and this. So exactly how the Ulangi's app works is that it provides that kind of a response coming from the Good Agricultural Practices Manual from the government of Malawi and providing that kind of a response to the farmers. One thing that I want to add at this point is that at this point, Ulangi's app sits with the extension officers or the agents. It does not sit directly with the farmer because sometimes we want to make sure that the Ulangi's app provides the response and the response is easily and better interpreted as we give to the farmers. This is the reason. As we grow and as we continue, we will provide this tool to the last mile. But at this point, as we continue, we want to make sure that we can provide relevant and accurate responses to the farmers. Not that it is not providing the accurate response, it provides the accurate response. But as you know, with the artificial intelligence, you need to provide, like the way you ask it is the way it answers you. So sometimes you need to provide like follow-up questions, or you need to provide a very specific question for you to get a very specific answer. Now, leveraging our agent network, we help to create some elaboration and specificity to the answers that the app provides to the smallholder farmers. And this is real-time responses. You ask it and it gives you the answer right there and then. I know there will be some follow-up questions, Bolaji, but I'll stop at this point. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually very amazing, very, very interesting. Like, this is probably one of my first times hearing like the use of this translator, like for like farmers and stuff. For that aspect as well, I assume that some of the farmers might be a bit reluctant to want to use this like technology. How do you tend to like try to convince them or navigate that conversation?
Thank you, Asana, for that question. I think convincing other smaller farmers to use this app would be very easy. It's not really to talk about the features. It's not really just to show the app to them, but really to show the value of the app to them. And the best way to show this value to them is to share a story of one of their fellow farmers and show how that fellow farmer benefited from this app and how she said that she really wished she had this app like a long time ago. So I just want to share a story of one of our smallholder farmers that we support in the outskirts of Lilongwe here in Malawi. Her name is Anna. So like in the past years, we have been hit by cyclones. And last year we were hit by Cyclone Freddy, and it really wiped out about like 90% of the soya crop. And soya, as I mentioned when we started, is a dominant crop for smallholder farmers. And it has been very profitable for years. So farmers who typically produce like 30 bags of soya found themselves down to just like 3 bags. Sorry, Asana, I would pause for a bit.
No worries. Hope all is well.
Apologies for that. As I mentioned to Braj, I'm in the villages, so there was a group of people like beating drums and such kind of things.
No worries.
All right, so I would take it. I would take it again.
Okay.
Were they beating drums for you? Are you famous?
Maybe they are beating drums for me, so that they would see if I'm able to dance or not. Yeah. So
Yeah, so you were
yeah, I
giving a
think
story about Anna.
yes, yes. So I think the best way to show the value of Ulangi's app to the smallholder farmers is really to show how Ulangi's app has benefited some of the smallholder farmers. And the story that I want to share now is about a smallholder farmer called Anna, who is our smallholder farmer who is based in Mitundu. This is the outskirts of Lilongwe in Malawi. So, like in the past few years, we've been hit by cyclones, which is also like evidence enough that climate change is real, even in Africa. And the last year, we are hit by Cyclone Fred, which really wiped out a very big percentage, like about 90% of soya crop. And soya is a very dominant crop for smallholder farmers in Malawi, and it has been very profitable for farmers for a number of years. And last year, like for farmers that would typically like produce 30 bags of maize, they came down to about like only 3 bags of soya, not maize, soya, sorry. Like those that would produce 30 bags of soya came down to producing on about 3 bags of soya just because of Cyclone Freddy. Now, when we started this version of ChatGPT, we connected a number of smallholder farmers, introducing them to this base, to this innovation, ChatGPT. So we brought up a number of farmers in Lilongwe just to introduce them to this type of innovation. And one of them was Anna. And Anna was also one of the farmers that had really that was that had lost her crops, like soya crops, due to cyclone and also to soya rust outbreak. And now, when we are introducing the ChatGPT based platform to her as a way of introducing technology to the smaller farmers, like we said, like what question would you ask a platform like this? So she asked GPT, like, what herbicide to use to combat soya rust? And as she asked this question, after a few seconds, we saw some kind of smile on her face because GPT responded that she needed a fungicide, not a herbicide. You see, because
I see.
yeah, because like Anna's question was like, what herbicide do we
Yeah.
use? But now the response was, no, you need a fungicide, not a herbicide. And it provided a list of 12 fungicides. And Anna's
I see.
response was, only if I would be able to know that quickly, I might have saved my crop. So we designed Ulangezi, as I mentioned, it speaks Chichewa, and it's easily accessible on WhatsApp, and it uses data from the Malawi Farming Good Agri Practices Handbook, written by the government of Malawi. And Anna uses this app to support herself, and other smaller farmers within her community. So this is the value that our Ulangis app would provide. So as you can see from Anna's response, she said, only if I had known this, then I would have saved my crop. Now, to make sure that other smaller farmers would want to really see the value of this Ulangis app, then the best is just to take Anna's story and share it with other smallholder farmers. And when we started, we have really seen thousands of queries every month, like just asking, like, what is this? How can we do this? If I see this in my farm, like, what should I do? And they get real-time type of support, and that is very specific to their own context, to their own communities.
No, that story is very touching. Like, I'm sure everyone who hears it will be very touched by it. But the thing is, like, to be honest, on Anna's side, it's like it's better late than never. So now that she knows that, okay, this opportunity is available to her going forward, like, she can keep leveraging on me. So I'm so glad your team has been able to provide such values to the farmer. And I
Thank you,
guess
Asana.
I guess looking forward, are you hoping to expand? I don't know if an expansion is already in place, but then outside of Malawi, because I assume like there's so many other parts of Africa that could really leverage what your team provides.
We are so we are hoping to expand, and we are working on expansion programs. As you can see, this app has really put a smile on a lot of smaller farmers, and it has also put a smile on us as staff, as the providers and the supporters, and we want to make sure that a lot of smaller farmers benefit from this platform. Our mandate is really to help farmers to earn more and to and also to grow more. So this app is one of the tools that will help us to reach to more farmers, to provide the support that the farmers need to achieve this goal. And really, as we look into the future, we want to reach a point where the smaller farmers can go to bed on full stomachs. We don't want these smaller farmers, the ones that produce like the most of our food, to go back to bed on an empty stomach. So this Ulangis app is one of the tools that we really see as a game changer to provide real-time and the relevant type of advisory services to the smallholder farmers, like to really know what type of inputs to provide, to really know in time what type of pesticides, fungicides, or herbicides to use to really save their crop. So we want to take this platform to other African countries like Ghana, Uganda, DRC, where we're working in. We work in several African countries, and this app is a game changer, even to smaller farmers in those African countries.
Incredible. Come to Nigeria, by the way. You didn't mention Nigeria. We think we needed to. So I guess two more questions for me, Richard. The first one is, what can we do to help, both as ABS and I mean, like someone listening to this episode right now might want to get involved. How can they get involved?
Thank you for that. We really love for people to get involved in so many ways. It might be capacity building, sharing our stories, funding, in so many aspects. So I think the best way to get involved, and I know that ABS can really share this information, is for people to come on our website and read about our stories and about our impact. So people should visit our website at www.opportunity.org. So visiting this website, they'll really see our impact, and they'll find a lot of ways how they can get involved and work with Opportunity International.
Incredible. And just for context as well, the way I found Richard was I found an article on Bloomberg on the Ulangizi app, did my research, kind of went through like 3 people, and we finally got this episode. So yes, there's a lot more that Opportunity International is doing. Check out their website, as Richard mentioned. One final question from me and for us, Richard, and it's a question we ask all our guests on the episode, is, if you were to travel anywhere in Africa on an all expense paid trip, where would you go and why?
If I would travel to any place in Africa, where would I go? So I would go to Uganda. Like, Uganda is one of the areas where we have also seen the best smallholder farmers, how they have really benefited from our interventions, and they have really showcased how the work of Opportunity can transform the lives of farmers. So I think I would really love to travel to the Pearl of Africa and just also learn about how smallholder farmers' lives are being changed through the interventions of Opportunity International and the partners that we have in Uganda.
Incredible. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing this. I've learned so much. I'm quite excited to see how the Ulangizi app expands and advances in terms of functionality. Really inspiring story. Thank you again for doing this with us. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with what Balaji said. Thank you so much. It has been a really good episode.
Thank you for having me. It's good to have this time. Thank you.